What's going on, guys? My name is Christopher and welcome to It's Complicated. It is a show where I talk about and showcase wristwatches. However, today I'm not going to be talking about wristwatches or showcasing any wristwatches. I'm going to be telling you where I've been. Here we go. A lot of you guys are probably already asking yourself, where have I been and why did he put that intro if he's not talking about watches today? Well, I just feel like it belongs there, so sue me. Years ago, I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone and I went to mention the President of the United States. At the time, it was Trump. And I was like, you know, it's President. I said, what's his name? What's his name? I just couldn't spit it out. Weird. And then he'd say Trump. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's his name. But this weird feeling was going on in my head while that was happening, and it kind of continued to happen down the line. I was still driving around, everything still seemed normal, but something seemed off. What I mean by it seemed off, it didn't seem like I just couldn't remember the guy's name. It seemed like something was making me not remember the guy's name in my brain. So I go see a neurologist. He goes, oh, it's probably epilepsy, but let's run this test. He gives me this thing to put on my head. This lady comes over to the house. She hooks all this stuff up. I go to sleep. I wear this thing for 3 days. Can't take a shower with this thing on, and I hate that kind of stuff. Just saying. 3 days later, I give her the equipment back. He has all that data. He looks through the data. I go to see him again. Epilepsy. He said, however, these are minor seizures. They're not a big deal. Just take these pills. You'll be fine. Got the pills. Guess who's allergic to those pills? This guy. So couldn't take him anymore. Went back to him. He switched the medication, took that medication, didn't work. So now this guy was making me upset. So I went to another neurologist a little further away from where I live. But at the time when I was having those seizures, they weren't blacking me out or anything. So I could drive. So I drove to this other place, went and saw them. They gave me this medication. Didn't work. Then they gave me this medication. Didn't work. Then they gave me this medication. Didn't work. I mean, I'm talking, this was a long time. This took a long time to like go down, so to speak. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden, I'd blink and something would happen. And I'm talking like I was driving one time to meet somebody for lunch and I blinked and all of a sudden I was there. And I didn't remember driving there. And it was real weird that happened. So I went back to the neurologist, told them what happened. Pow, see you later, driver's license. That's it. Now they started getting more frequent. And I'd always like blink and go pop, like, oh, I was just doing that. Like, what happened? You know? Now, when I'm talking about seizures, blackout seizures, I'm not talking about the ones where you're shaking and everything. I'm talking about the ones where you do something weird. Like my lips would turn blue and I would do something like this. It's happened filming these videos quite a few times, to be frank. And I'd go through and I'm like, there it is. There it is. And just got to delete it, you know? The power of video editing, ladies and gentlemen. After taking away the driver's license, trying me on all these medications, giving me all these tests, go here, try this, they just said, I gave up, I can't help you anymore, it's over. Then they sent me to another guy. This guy seemed pretty serious. He starts looking at this test, surgery. I'm talking, I've had 5 surgeries. 5. Pretty wild. I've had 2 of the big ones since I even filmed a last video. So this guy's thinking, okay, we're gonna do this surgery, we're gonna do it on you, but before we do this surgery, we gotta do this surgery first. Okay, let's do it. So I go in, lay in the hospital bed, they run a tube up my leg and it goes to my brain, they start shutting half it off, give me this stuff, shut another half it off, give me that stuff, test to see, make sure it's all on like one side, so to speak, if that makes sense. That surgery ends, I go home, I go back. They get that data, they review the data, then they're like, all right, dude, now we gotta do another surgery. And I'm like, when are we gonna do the final surgery, like the last one? And they're like, well, hold on, like we're not done. We gotta get more data. So we gotta do this surgery. I'm like, all right, so I go and I get that surgery done. All right, let's do it. Let's do what you're gonna do. Nope, not yet. We gotta do one more thing. We're gonna do one more thing. We're gonna drill all these holes in your head and we're gonna run all these wires in you and we're gonna keep you in the hospital for a week and make sure that what you're having is exactly what we know you're having, if that makes any sense. Finally, they're like, all right, this is it. This is the big one. What we're gonna do to you, Chris, is we're gonna take your skull and we're gonna cut a giant hole in the side of it. And then we're gonna go through your brain and we're gonna remove part of your brain. That will end the seizures. You're good to go because, hey, that medication just didn't work and there's nothing else we can do. Now, what could happen with this surgery? You could end up paralyzed from the neck down, paralyzed from the waist down, have this problem, that problem, this problem, that problem, that, this, and it just kept going and going and going. And the whole time I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then they said, but if you don't get this surgery done, what will end up happening is you'll be in a nursing home, maybe by the time you're 50, because when you have a seizure, and I know a lot of you probably don't know this, when you have a seizure, you're actually developing brain damage. Every seizure you have, that extra electricity that's coming out of there gives you a little tiny bit of brain damage. I've had so many seizures. It's unbelievable. I went to Las Vegas with friends of mine and I took my shirt off in a jewelry store where they sell wristwatches. Meanwhile, the lady's like, what the hell is he doing? And my friend's like, he's having a seizure. You just gotta wait. You gotta wait. She just couldn't believe it. Then I snapped out of it and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that watch. That's really cool. And I saw this and da-da-da-da. I told you guys a story about the Vegas watch thing in the past, but I didn't mention and this is the problem. Sometimes I can't remember stuff. It's gonna take some months to get all this back. I didn't mention the seizures inside the jewelry store. That's what I wanted to say. But imagine it being way worse. Imagine me having a seizure while I'm talking about something. Or imagine me filming some watch that cost $30,000. Then all of a sudden, where the hell did that watch go? I don't even know what's going on. Very frustrating. But this stuff kept getting worse. So my point is, what happened is I quit doing the YouTube videos. I spent a lot of time in the hospital. I spent a lot of time doing all these tests, running around, getting driven here, getting driven there. Gotta go here, gotta go there. Oh, guess what? Now you gotta get those pills. Those pills don't work. Okay, too bad. What are you gonna do here? Guess what? Now we're gonna give you all kinds of pain pills. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. So finally, my point is they finally did the last surgery that they're doing on me. And I'm talking, pow. They cut an enormous hole in the side of my skull. Take that part of the skull off. And they went through there and just dug through the brain, all the stuff that's like folded over there, and they just like went through. And they removed part of my brain, the part of the brain that was having the seizures. Now it's gonna take 3 more months. It's already been a little over a month since the surgery. It's pretty wild stuff. So the whole YouTube thing, I couldn't worry about it. Guys, I haven't done anything with YouTube. This channel has been pretty much completely silent. I didn't even look at comments until today. It's been over a month since that big brain surgery where they removed part of my brain and I haven't even looked at comments. It's just like whatever's going on, whatever. Another big thing I'm gonna throw in there to you guys is the 2-tone Submariner that I bought in the store for cash. That costs, now it's worth 17 grand, almost 18 grand. Yeah, that was a bucket list thing. There were so many dangers of getting that final surgery. There was, like I said, you're gonna be paralyzed. You might not make it. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. I mean, it was to the point, guys, where I got home, I was bleeding out of my ear, and I was just going so crazy, bleeding out of my ear. All this stuff was going on. So I haven't watched as much YouTube. There's a couple people on YouTube that knew some of this was going on, and they kind of knew like, hey, I might not be around for a while. And those guys know who they are. A lot of you guys definitely remember in the 80s where the open heart surgery was like the big surgery, the big one, No. The new big one is this stuff. It was terrifying. I mean, it was one of the scariest things I've ever been through, but it's great that I'm back. And like I said, I still got 3 more months and I'll be better talking than I am now. And in case you didn't notice, I'm already pretty good at talking back to normal. So I'm back, baby. Back with the lights on, doing the whole YouTube thing. It feels great to go through all of this and have it finally be over. It's over. Back to normal for the most part. But again, I definitely wanted to send an update to you guys. It feels great to be back. Everything around here is just so much better. I wanted to tell you guys that. I wanted to tell you guys where I've been. That being said, I hope all you guys are doing fantastic. And I'll see you guys on the next It's Complicated video.